Here we have a t-shirt. This is called a t-shirt that you see in the picture here. And the t-shirt is common among men and women, worn all year round. Now, moving on to my next clothing is pants or trousers. This is called pants, or it can be called trousers, but pants are more common. And pants are made for both men and, I'm sorry about that, are both made for men and women. Now, moving on to my next clothing is jeans. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box. This is called the clothing on the image is called jeans. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you more information. Most common form of clothing is jeans. Now, moving on to my next clothing, but before I do that, jeans, they are the most common form of clothing. As you could see here in the picture, this is called, or these are called shorts. And shorts are worn by both men and women. Now, moving on to my next clothing, but before I do that, shorts are worn by both men and women. Here is our picture. This is called a sweater. It also can be called a jumper, or also a pullover. They all mean the same thing: sweater, jumper, or pullover. I'm going to go ahead and write this. I'm going to go ahead and read that for you. Sweaters are good for keeping you warm in the winter. Excuse me. And like I said before, this can be called a sweater, a jumper, or a pullover. Now, moving on to my next clothing is a hoodie, or a sweatshirt with a hoodie, which is more common. Sweatshirt with a hoodie. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some information. Use this in a sentence. Let me go ahead and read that for you. A sweatshirt is good to have when the weather is cool. This is called a sweatshirt, or it can be called a sweatshirt with a hoodie. Excuse me. Now, moving on to my next clothing, are pretty common, are gloves. And in the picture you see here, they are called gloves. And gloves are worn mostly during winter. Gloves are worn during the winter season. And these are called gloves, guys, so let's not forget that. They are called gloves, and gloves are worn during the winter season. Now, moving on to my next clothing, these are called mittens. And mittens are a form of glove, but it doesn't have any fingers. They are also worn in winter, so I'm going to go ahead and say mittens are gloves without fingers. And they are also worn in the winter. They are also worn in the winter. Now, moving on to my next clothing, but before I do that, this is called mittens, so let's not forget that. It's called mittens. Now, moving on to my next clothing, these are baby clothes. There's only two. Well, two baby clothes that I have right here. Baby clothes. These are important, so let's go ahead and name this. This is called a romper suit. Romper suit. And a romper suit is worn commonly with 1-year-olds. So this is a romper suit, guys. Let's not forget that. It's called a romper suit. Now, moving on to my next clothing is called a diaper. Diaper. And a diaper is common among babies, so I'm going to go ahead and write that for you. Whoops, sorry about that. A diaper is very common among among babies. Let's go ahead and read that to you one more time. A diaper is very common among babies. This is called a diaper, you guys, so let's not forget that. This is a diaper. Moving on to my next clothing is holiday and leisure clothes.